There is a feeling that does not have a clean name. It is not depression and it is not burnout and it is definitely not ingratitude. It is the specific feeling of lying in a bed at night, looking at a life that checks every box, and quietly wondering if this is actually it. And the most confusing part is that you cannot say it out loud because from the outside, everything looks fine. The job is fine, the apartment is fine, the life on a paper is fine. But fine was never what you were working toward. If you felt that, even once, even briefly, even if you immediately pushed it away, stay here. Because what I am about to tell you is not motivation. It is the honest explanation for why that feeling exists and what it is actually trying to tell you. In 1845, a 27-year-old Harvard graduate did something that confused everyone who knew him. He walked away, not from failure, not from crisis, but from a life that from the outside looked completely fine. He built a small cabin by a pond in Concord, Massachusetts, and spent 2 years asking the one question that most people spend their entire lives carefully avoiding. His name was Henry David Thoreau, and what he found at that pond explains the feeling you pushed away last night. Thoreau watched the people around him working jobs they did not choose, to buy things they did not need, to build lives shaped entirely by what everyone around them expected. And he wrote one line that survived 170 years because it has never stopped being true. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, not loud suffering, not obvious crisis, the specific experience of going through the motion of a life that looks completely fine from the outside, while something inside quietly wonders if this is actually what living is supposed to feel like. Thoreau was not describing weakness, he was describing what happens when capable people spend their best years executing someone else's plan for them. He went to Walden Pond to answer one specific question. He wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, and not when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." He was not afraid of dying, he was afraid of something far more specific. Reaching the end and realizing that the life he had carefully, responsibly, diligently built was never actually his. That fear is not 19th century philosophy. That fear is the feeling you pushed away. The last time you looked at your own life and felt that quiet distance between where you are and where something inside you knows where you could be. Here's the honest thing that nobody says out loud. The most dangerous advice ever given to an American teenager was not malicious. It was incomplete. Go to college, work hard, be responsible, and you will be happy. That advice told you how to succeed. It never told you what success was for. It handed you a destination without ever asking whether it was your destination. And the people who gave you that advice were not lying. They were passing on the same incomplete script that was handed to them. That script was written in 1950, when a single income bought a house, when one employer took care of you for life, when the rules, if followed faithfully, actually delivered what they promised. That world is gone. The script is still being handed out. And the people who following it most faithfully are the ones asking, is this it? Harvard psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar spent years studying a specific phenomenon. He called it the Arrival Fallacy, the specific experience of reaching a goal you worked years toward and feeling nothing, or worse, feeling emptier than before you started. His research showed this happens almost exclusively when the goal was borrowed from someone else's definition of a good life, rather than built from an honest understanding of what actually matters to you. Thoreau described this in 1845. Ben-Shahar measured it in a laboratory. 150 years later, the same human truth, separated by a century and a half. Which means this is not a modern problem, not a social media problem, not your generation's problem. This is what happens when a person builds a life without ever stopping to ask what they are building it for. Tonight, one specific thing, not an app, not a system, not a financial calculation, something more fundamental than all three. Open your phone or a piece of paper and write honest answers to 3 questions. Not the answers you think you should write, the honest ones. First, what would you do with your time if money was completely removed from the equation? Second, what is the one thing you keep postponing that you know actually matters to you? Third, whose definition of success are you currently living? Write them down and do not share them with anyone. This is not for social media. This is Thoreau's question written in your own hand for the first time. Tomorrow morning, before your phone, before anything else enters your mind, read what you wrote tonight. Then choose one thing from your answers, one specific thing that belongs to you, and spend the first 5 minutes of your day doing that only. Not a plan, not a goal, just 5 minutes, yours. That is Thoreau's deliberate life applied to your morning. Thoreau spent 2 years at Walden Pond, and at the end of those 2 years, he left. Not because he failed, and not because the world called him back, but because he had answered his questions. He had learned what his life was actually for, what it felt like to spend even one single day completely deliberately on his own terms. And once you know that feeling, once you have felt even for 1 hour that was genuinely yours, you cannot unfeel it. The quiet desperation Thoreau wrote about is not permanent. It is not your character, and it is not your fate. It is what happens when a person has not yet asked the question Thoreau asked standing at the edge of that pond. Tonight, you ask it. 3 honest answers in your own handwriting for yourself. Not with a plan, not with a system, with one honest question finally asked. Thoreau wrote one more thing I want you to think tonight. It is not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? Not how hard are we working or how much are we producing. What are we busy about? Most Americans are genuinely busy, working hard, being responsible, following the script, and still carrying that quiet feeling that something is missing, because busy without direction is just a faster way to arrive at the wrong destination. Next video, we talk about the 30 minutes every single morning that are silently deciding the direction of your entire day, and the reason most effective people in history treated those 30 minutes like the most valuable thing they owned. You will not want to miss this one. Thank you so much for your time, and welcome to Rich Within.